Last year I was up on Elphinstone Mountain. I was living in the forest, attempting to protect some old growth forest. And I met someone on the mountain who was there when I arrived, and she stuck out because she was sort of like the only First Nations Indian on the mountain that was living there, and everyone else was white. And like most Canadians, I guess, I've had some interactions with First Nations and quite a lot of interactions not with First Nations. And growing up in this country, I realized that, you know, I have come from I was born into a land of a genocide. I was born into a history that I had no part in, but I was now in. But I had complete ignorance of it when I was growing up. I think the last residential school ended in 1984. And so it was still going on while I was alive and in school, but as a child, I did not know anything about it. But I did know a bit about Wounded Knee and different atrocities. It did seem to me as a child and what I'd learned growing up that the whites were insane, brutal, and violent in their interaction with other cultures, and it didn't seem right. So there's a lot to say that I would like to say about a lot of things, but this video has a particular function, and it's to speak of somebody, Raven, who I met, this First Nations young woman. And over the years, I've realized there's different levels of commitment in activists and people about what they're willing to do to protect Mother Earth, what they're willing to do to protect the environment. And for most people, it's showing up at a walk, march, usually about a couple of hours, maybe 3 or 4, goes long. There's lots of speeches, starts with speeches, ends with speeches, people walk around, and that's it. I think I filmed in 2 years in Victoria about 20 or 30 of them. They always did the same thing. They started somewhere, rally the people with some speeches, walk down to the provincial legislature, and then have some more speeches, and then go home. And that was my main assessment of activism. One day there was 20,000 people on the provincial legislature. That was way back. And I've just witnessed over my lifetime sort of constant loss, constant ineffectual campaigns, at least to me, from my limited position. I'm sure there's campaigns that do well, but in general, looking at the big picture, over the years, there's nothing that beats the injunction. You just play that card and all of a sudden, bingo, you go to jail. And now it's over. They use the force of the state to stop whatever it is that you want to protest. And Kinder Morgan is coming, and that is going to be the big test. What is going to happen? And so there's people like Raven who are out there in the world protecting Mother Earth or going to camps. They generally live on nothing. They generally are provided with food and lodging when they show up, if they're going to stay at a particular place. But nobody's paid money. The only people that are paid money are the judges, the cops, the loggers, pretty much everyone involved in the forest industry to cut it down and thus have legislation protection to do so makes money. So everyone's showing up at the job because they're paid, and if they didn't get paid, they wouldn't be there. Their heart's not in it, their mind's not in it, they're doing it because they're paid money. That needs to be established. And so the people that are there to protect the trees, the old growth forest trees, you know, the last remaining old growth forest on the planet, those people do it with their own pocket. or when they're in the forest or defending something, they're not in a job. And people may look at them as hippies, or people may look at environmentalists these days as, I don't freaking know how you guys look at us. And I'm putting me in the category now because I've been there and I'm speaking from my witnessing. This is my truth. It's not filtered. It's not making something up. What I witnessed was Raven in the forest of her own will, not from that territory, doing what she can in the time allotted to protect the forest. Now, I know she doesn't live the lifestyle of all the people with the homes and all the nice things, the jobs. But that culture, that whole culture is essentially killing the species, whether we admit it or not. If you just look at the whole planet overall, what's happening, there's so many things that are so utterly stupid and greedy happening that is bad for everybody, that is enforced by legislation and freaking hired thugs. And we're coming to the end of it. You know, these criminals who are in charge doing their freaking insanity, you know, the rest of the world now is watching on YouTube and Facebook going, what the fuck are you doing? Most people are good people. Most people want to do good things. And if I'm speaking to you now, it's based upon the assumption that there's goodness in the world and in humanity, but it's somehow been just brainwashed out into this zombie-like state where if you're in a job and if you're getting paid to do your thing and you got your truck and you got your food and you got your TV and you got your sex, your wife, your kids, or your husband, or whatever it is, if your needs are taken care of, well, that's okay. You know, I'm taking care of my kids, or I'm doing my job, or I'm whatever. There's a rationalization for doing the job that you do, because part of it may understand that you're participating in something that is not actually good for you, the planet, the community, nobody except a few, very few isolated billionaires. All the fucking money is going up into this nice, beautiful vat of wealth that all the billionaires have figured out how to build the infrastructure and keep it to themselves and let a few in as soon as they figure out, you know, something, and then they can join the party. But the rest of us and the planet and the trees and the animals are paying a massive price. And I have been silent for far too long because I have felt ignored, not listened to, shut down constantly in different ways if I ever bring something up that is of real truth. I mean to everybody. But now it's different. And the first thing I'm doing, one of the first things, is I'm making an endorsement for Raven to be a land defender. To all you whites and First Nations that are sitting at home, want to protect the planet, but don't have the time, but have some money, this is someone to send to monthly. This is someone to support. This is someone to know that the money's going in the right hands and that she's going to do something that's going to be good for the planet, good for this region, good for the community, good for the people, good for her, and good for the people around her. That's what I would see. And I think we need to begin vouching for and praising and supporting any young or old individual or groups of people that are doing good things for the planet and are not being paid, that are supporting ecosystems, planting trees, farming new forest food farms, building sustainable anything, anywhere, that are not being rewarded in the normal sense because the job infrastructure is there to extract the resources rather than protect them. And so this is the huge change in mentality. You know, this isn't just asking for money because we need it to do something and thank you for it. No, this is a demand from the youth. This is something that has to happen. Stop giving your money to the corporate nonprofits. Stop giving your money to the government. Give the money to people that are real, that are actually doing something that is good. That's where the frickin' currency of the community needs to go. And I, as Captain Sweep or Elijah or whatever you want to see me as, is a voice, is I am expressing my truth right now to you. And if you hear this truth and you say, you know, he's right, well, send money to Raven monthly, once in a while, but keep her on your radar and people like her who you decide to go, I'm going to support that person and I'm going to help them. And maybe if it's only $50 this month, or maybe it's only $100 per month, or maybe it's only $1,000 as a one-time deal, or maybe it's you buy the backpack, or you buy the phone, or you buy the laptop, you get the internet hooked up, you take care of the cable bill, you take care of the gas for that trip, you take care of the food immediately. Could be anything where you feel great about contributing to somebody else's life that is in honor of the higher principles that we all need to live within. True planetary guardians, true people that decide to spend their life in service to the greater whole. You know, that is what we need to do. All of us in some way with the truth of our heart, independent of all these language structures, belief systems, worldviews, thoughts, assessments that are in our mind that came from somewhere that we don't even know. So the first part about taking back your mind is you just got to get to a neutral place of you don't freaking know anything. But then see what is. You know, remove the whole belief structure and just see what is. And it's all around us right now. And then watch the TV and watch the videos and, you know, ponder and reflect upon life. Why are you here? Who are you? What are you? What do you want to truly do with this life you have? And, you know, how does that connect with everybody else? How does that connect with you know, whatever you decide your philosophy is? So I thank you for listening. And I thank Raven for being who she is. And this is just one of a whole bunch of videos I'm going to start to send out about my truth. And I think you need to do the same. You know, find out your truth and speak it to the world. And let them know how you feel and what you think. Because I think and feel that we are very close and similar in terms of the love that we want. And the love that we want to get. And the beauty we want to express. And the beauty we want to be part of, and the goodness that is in our heart, and the goodness that is all around us. But we have to remove the shackles from the past. We have to expand our mind and our hearts, open up and connect in a way where we see each other as divine illuminated beings, and allow everyone to be amazing, and don't be competitive about who's getting what with who. It's like, you're going to get yours. There's more than enough for everybody. But so much comes from how we treat each other, who I am in the moment, and how I can express myself. And here, I tell you, go on video, be in an empty room. No one is here. The reason I can talk like this is because nobody's here. I'm not trying to please somebody. I'm not changing things because I'm just alone with the Creator, with myself, with you, in a way that I do want to speak to you. And I would love to speak to you like this all the time, in a way that both of us are just in pure joy at the presence we share with one another. But look what happens socially. Look at how we interact with one another. How often do you get to the truth of who you are in expression with somebody else? And why? because the society is structured in a certain way to keep us from truly honoring who we are. So anyway, this is Captain Sweet. Hello. How's that, Raven? Did that do something? Is that okay? Or I'm just another tall, bald white guy talking my shit. Anyway, much love to you.